teacher, but
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
what else you want to know?
Okay, wonderful. That is the most noble profession. So we will be introducing Shalini ma'am now in short while. I myself is a parent coach, parenting coach, you can say. Yeah. And we will be introducing everybody else very shortly. Yeah, Romita is also joined now.
Good evening, everyone.
There's an echo. You have to close one of the so Ashoka ma'am, should we start or should we wait for some more time?
No, it's better we start because it's already 2 minutes past.
Yes.
All the speakers have come.
Right. Okay. So welcome, dear friends, to our parenting webinar jointly presented by ACE International Singapore and Global Palm Skills India. The theme of the webinar is steps to build positive approach, warm relationships, and trust in adolescence. And as we know, adolescence is a phase life cycle that fills the gap between puberty and the working adult, and it has been recognized in the 19th century. It is a phase of the post-secondary education. This is an important and valuable period of life during which an individual prepares to move into adulthood full of challenges and responsibility. World Health Organization defines adolescents as people aged from 10 to 19. Externalizing and internalizing problems are two empirically derived dimensional constructs that have been used frequently to operationalize adolescent behavior problems. External behavior problems are defined as consisting of aggressive and delinquent behaviors like fighting, vandalism, stealing, lying, and other rule-breaking behaviors. Internal problem behavior are defined as consisting of anxious and affective symptoms like being worried, sadness, hopelessness, and some physical symptoms. Studies have shown that behavior problems typically begin at 12 years of age and increase into middle adolescence. And the psychopathology and epidemiological literature emphasize the age of 16 to 17 years as the peak of behavioral problems in adolescence. And again, the World Health Organization estimate shows that up to 20% adolescents have one or the more behavioral problems. So these external problems have many consequences, and some of them may be very serious. Which may be like we have peer rejection, failure in schools, and statistics give the consequence of internal problems, probably like dropping out of school, drug abuse, and suicide. This emphasizes the identification of factors responsible for the behavioral problem. Solution to these problems as the interventions for these behavioral problems and help us nurture our teens in a more effective way. So to begin with, I will invite Dr. Shalini Nambia. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Monica.
So I will be sharing us not a very brief bio. So she is the founder of SN Education Consultants. 6+ years of experience in education and has been associated with various names like Pure Group, GD Goenka Public School, the Heritage School, Elixir American School, and GEMS Education. Her unconventional vision and wisdom find roots in her attempt to break stereotypes that education is pinned down with. The outcome she believes is not knowledge, but a stack of degrees that provide employment. And this is the domain where she has worked intensively to bring about a change, moving ahead with the belief that education, when imparted in its true spirit, has the power to change the world. Her comprehensive knowledge of running a school has helped in building quality institutes like Heritage School Gurgaon, Siller's American School, and GEMS International School, which last for an eternity. Her last assignment was with Pure School as Senior VP Head Academics. She founded her own company, Essent Educational Consultants, in December 2019. And her philosophy can be summed up in the following lines of her very beautiful lines. I quote, "Oftentimes, in our search for the perfect moment of absolute learning, we fail to see the beauty of the stumbling blocks, the little steps that falter and fall backwards, and the unsure moments of I cannot do it. Sadly become a race towards perfection and the highest possible grades. It is as much about the moral grain of the being, the accountability and responsibility towards oneself and towards the society, about being the liberal citizen of the world and moving with the times, as it is about grades. I would like to see all my students as achievers, and if they imbibe knowledge rather than acquire it, spare a thought for the have-nots in their journey towards success. Think that peace, harmony, giving back to society, and care for the Mother Earth are not duties delegated to some specialists, but to them. I will feel that I have been successful in playing my part in educating them in the real sense of the term." I unquote. She aims to provide high-end trainings in leadership development and behavioral skill abilities for the organization, educational institutions, and individuals. She recently conducted successful trainings at Dubai, Sri Lanka, and Mauritius. She has been a speaker at several national and international conferences, and most recent being in London and Dubai. Wonderful to have you here. Today, she will share her views on the topic, communication is the key in bringing about changes in the adolescent.
Thank you, Monica, for such a
Over to you,
warm
ma'am.
welcome. And I'm very excited, and I want to thank the organizers for inviting me, because I'm really looking forward. Because teenage is an age, adolescents. My both kids are big now, and I have gone through the process as a parent. And, if you're the parent of a teenager, then you know. Raising teenagers is exciting, exhausting, fun, frustrating, amazing, and agonizing. It is everything. Let's just share, be honest, it has got its highs and lows. But the challenge is parents wake up too late. Parents, start bothering about their kids at the age of 12, 13. They treat them as babies when they are, 0 to 11 years. They are not communicating with them. They are not interacting with them. I've had students who wanted to, not study, not because of the school pressure. I find a lot of talks going on in the social media. The education system needs to change. I don't think so. We are the products of the same education system, and I think we are doing considerably well in life. It is about the parenting style which has changed. If I talk about education at my time, so the school was used to teach us, all those skills. But when we came home, the parents' responsibility was not asking us, what's your homework? What did you do in school? Which teacher came today? They used to tell us, lay the table, make the bed. Teaching us life skills. Now what has happened, we are pushing the pressure on the school. Everybody wants to shirk off with their responsibility. And sadly, we have, thousands of adolescent kids, my heart pains, who are suffering, who are really suffering. And their biggest challenge, you talk to them, because I have interacted as a school head during my journey with so many kids, but their biggest challenge is my father, mother doesn't trust me. They don't trust them. The parents want to live their dreams through the kids. I didn't become whatever, an IAS officer. My child must become their kids. And they don't realize when you push somebody so much, you're going to lose your child. See, I'm sure all of us have studied science, and it's a simple science things, simple science philosophy or whatever I may call it. That when the seeds are dispersed, the seed which falls closest to the mother tree never grows because they don't get air, they don't get sunshine. The seed which falls the farthest grows healthier. Let your child be. And the funniest thing is, why parents get agitated, Monica? It is a fact of life which parents will not admit because they are seeing themselves as teenagers. All the rubbish we did as teenagers, we are seeing our kids doing it and we cannot take it. What we could do. So the challenge is, how do you deal with this? First, try and understand your child. Give him space. I've known parents who become friends of their children on the social media, hide their true identity. I want to know what my kid is doing. Come on, give him space. What bad can he do? How much of a fall he can have? When you try to build that communication with your child, he's going to come back and share with you everything. I had a kid in school. He was in grade 11 and he says, I don't want to study. I said, why? He says, my parents think I'm selling drugs. Depressed. So his mate was not intelligent or he was not capable. It was the distrust of the parents. Parents need to wake up. Stop monitoring your how we call them helicopter parents of today. They're passing over their child. What is my child doing? Where is he going? Why didn't you call me? They put on these apps. The edtech companies are doing well because of the sad state of our parents. They give them that app where you can trace where your kid is. They're fine. You need to know your child is safe, but give him some space. Unless your child, he will never learn how a child to be. Very nicely in a workshop, I've done this with 10,000. I want my child to be happy. Okay, fine. And why are you pushing him? Why are you pushing him for umpteen classes? The biggest thing is give him space. Trust him. Communication is very important. How the communication should be. Most of the time, the sons, they face this challenge. My son faced, I'm being honest. I don't know what to talk with dad. Because all the time he talks, he's taking out mistakes. He's telling me, you must have, because my son is very forgetful, so he loses things. So the father is only going around saying anything which is lost in the house, he's responsible. That's not done. What happens then? He will never learn how to not lose things because we have built that in his mind that you will lose things. We are so sure of it. Communicate with your child in a positive manner. How many times? There's a research. It's not me saying. Being done that a parent and whichever parent is here, whichever teacher, parent, whoever is here, just do this simple thing. Write down in a day, how many times you tell your child no. You tell your child yes. Understand the difference. Your child says, I have had teenagers who have come to my home to change their clothes, wear short skirts because in their homes, their parents will not allow. Sad. You cannot wear it. Don't stop your child. You can guide. It's a very funny joke. A dad and a child, a father and a child's conversation. The child says, okay, how's your day? The child says, don't tell me how my life. I know. The children know. We did better than our parents. We went through the teenager years. Maybe did a lot of rubbish, but we came out. So try and reflect. You have these parents, who are cribbing that my child is not doing well in grade 11 in math. How will you do it? Math is like a sign of intelligence for parents, which is sad. It's really sad. Math is needed, but logic is needed. The creativity, the art. Encourage your kid. Your kid wants to be a musician. Let him be. Let him follow his heart. How many adults we know who at the age of 40 leave their jobs? Why do they leave it? Because they are not happy. They were doing something which was forced upon them. The parent needs to understand what is my child's interest, why the behavior problem occurs, why children rebel when they are adolescent. There's a very famous story. There is this techie who has returned from US, and there is a simple farmer. They have their houses next to each other, and they both have water their plants. They do everything to their gardens, and both their gardens are growing very good. Then a thunderstorm comes once, a very bad thunderstorm comes. And the next day when they get up, they see the techie's garden is totally destroyed. While simple farmer, that simple guy, low middle class guy, his garden is, sturdy. He goes to him, he says, what did you do? How come I was putting so much of manure, so much of pesticides, but one thunderstorm and my garden has gone flat. How come yours is still standing? He said, I never gave them enough of everything, because the trees and the plants became strong. They had the capability of surviving without water, without sun. That's what we do to our kids. We give them everything, and then we face the backlash. We don't tell them, we don't give them choices. We don't give them the right choice. You want your child to study, give him the right choice. Give him time. I mean, I know parents at the time of adolescence, when the children are going for their board exams, they cut off their all these funny things, take their mobiles. My God, what are you teaching your kid? I don't trust you. I am not trusting you. How will the child grow up? And all these have an impact on the child when he grows up. He's not able to handle himself. Most of the habits, our attitude, our behavior, we adopt unknowingly from our parents, not from teachers. No child has ever been told you look like your teacher. We always say you look like your dad or you look like your mom. So don't blame the education system. Start reflecting as a parent, how are you treating your teenage kids? Very important. Find ways to be together each day. Just be there for them. Sit with them about anything. Stop asking them about things which may irritate them. Just be there. Okay, son, let's sit down. Okay, in the adolescent. Okay, how's your life going? Let's go back to when we were teenagers. It's a very fine line between parenting. There are things which we'll never share with the parents, whatever anybody may say. So don't force your child to share with you everything. He will not. We didn't. Neither will they. There are certain parts. Remember, you're a parent. And there's this new trend when parents say, I'm my child's best friend. Oh my God, how can you be your child's best friend? You can never be your child's best friend. You are a mom and a dad. You friendly. You can't become a friend. You need to maintain that, limitations or setting limits, but don't get after the child. Second very important thing is avoid quizzing and questioning, all the time. Okay, what did you do? Why aren't you sharing with me? Why aren't you talking? You talk about yourself. Don't always talk about your success. Talk about your failures. Tell them how you were in school. I mean, I want to share this very funny incident. So I had this student in grade 12, and his parents were really forcing him that you have to do very well, sending him for 10, 12 tuitions. That poor child was not at all interested. But he couldn't tell his parents because he was very humble, very scared. All that was going on. One day he called me up. He said, ma'am, I have to tell you something. I said, yeah, can I come and meet you? I said, yeah, sure. He came with a big bag. So they were getting transferred. So the house everything was getting packed. And he came and he shared. He said, my dad has always told me for so many years that he was a genius in math. Today I discovered his degrees and his certificates. He got 50%, ma'am, in his 12th. Don't tell a child. We are not God, we are humans. It's all right to tell them. The third very important thing is, if they talk, try to listen. Don't be judgmental. I told you so. Very favorite line of parents of adults. I knew this will happen. Stop being judgmental. Let them discover themselves what they want to. Don't become so, what you say, like, as I said, helicopter parents buzzing all around him. He to him like a, there you can be like a friendly talk. Okay, who are your friends? What do they do? What do they want to do? If he says, I don't want to talk about my friends, okay, fine, I respect you. Respect them. You want respect? Please respect them. You must have seen a video of a couple, an old couple, and somewhere in Delhi, they put it up on all social media and everybody was sharing it, where they were blaming how their son and their daughter-in-law has thrown them out of the house. Come on, I wanted to ask them, as parents, you need to reflect how your kids threw you out. 1% kids may be wrong, but 90% kids adopt the values you are telling them. Did you make their life so miserable? What is the kind of upbringing you gave them? You don't communicate with your child. You are only giving judgment to adolescent, which is the sad part. You need to communicate. Communication is what? It's a two-way process. Like when you play a tennis match, one person throws the ball, then the other one. Have meetings. A very important advice, like we have office meetings. We sit down, one person speaks, the other are quiet. Everybody doesn't start speaking together. Schedule that during a day, like 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to say, a lot of parents say, my child doesn't. How will he read? What will school do? I ask the parents, do you read? Do you ever pick up a book or pretend to read? Do that. You are watching all the movies and the rubbish, and you don't want your child to watch that. Come on, which world are you living in? Don't child flop. A lot of parents do that. Okay, these sites, okay, why don't you just communicate and talk to them? There are sites, talk about, I always say, we as parents and adolescents is an age where they're very inquisitive. Their bodies are growing. They want to know a lot of things. How many parents talk about the sex with the kids? They don't. I spoke to my son about using a condom when he was in grade 11th. I wanted him to be a responsible kid, not that he's going to go and have sex, but you need to make your children aware. You have, if they are not aware, they will anyway discover these things from people around them. Why not as a parent? Why don't kids come in? They're so scared to tell their parents. Girls, I've noticed in the adolescence age, they're very scared to come and tell their parent if something happens with them, if somebody touches, because they know their parents are going to be judgmental. They'll say, I told you not to wear a short skirt. It's wrong. You need to be like a parent where children can come when they have a problem. You are their confidante. You should be the person who they feel like connected to the most, not that they hate their parents. And let them be. They need space. Again and again, I'm saying the challenge in their behavior occurs because you do not give them space. Respect them. Don't expect them to follow certain things which are now redundant. They need their own time. I've seen parents like, when they're going to college, they want to know every half an hour, message what you are doing. I mean, every boy is not a boyfriend and every girl is not a girlfriend. And it's all right. I think in today's age, as a parent, you should be happy if your guy is attracted towards a girl, because the other thing is also very common now. I think parents should appreciate, oh, you have a girlfriend. Wow, tell me about her. Very important. My son is 13. He has a girlfriend. And, he stays up. She comes and lives here. But he's open to me. He tells me, okay, she's coming. Oh, that's nice. I want that open relationship. I cannot change him. I cannot force him. I can only guide him. Okay, this is right and this is wrong as per me. But you're free to decide for yourself what is right. Because remember, what is bad for you morally may not be bad for them. This is a different generation. And that's why we talk about the generation gap. That's why we say, as parents get very stressed out. First and foremost, take care of yourself. What they call the emptiness syndrome after 55, 60, I'm reaching that. My daughter is married, my son is big. But I'm very busy. I'm very happy because I know at the end of the day, I have to take care of myself. No expectations. Adolescent is a very crucial stage where build a relationship with them. Have transparency in your communication with them. Stop talking only about things which irritate you. Start talking about things which they want. I'm sure you must have all seen that beautiful ad which Mirinda came out around 10 years ago, where they called the parents and where they called the children and they asked children to write a letter to their parent, that if you see that video, you're going to cry. Because every child wrote, adolescent kid wrote, you don't trust me. You don't have faith in me. I'm not good in math, Dad. I'm trying. I can't do it. It's all right. You have to be, like, I'll give you a little example. I state personal anecdotes so that you understand. My daughter was in grade 11. Because of the peer pressure, because math is like, in India, math is like, wow, math is very important. So she said, no, I'm going to take math. I knew as a mother and as an educator, she's not good in math, because I was also not very good. I told her, I said, don't take math, do something which you're excited. No, I'm going to take math. First term, she didn't do well. And then she wanted to change it, but I didn't force her. I said, okay, you try. I knew it shall come back. Now the decision was hers to change it, because she didn't believe me at that time, which is fine. That's what adolescents are. But I didn't get angry. I gave her that space. I said, okay, it's for you to decide. She decided to be a singer. It's all right. My husband is from the south of India, where they want their kids to go into MBA and this. He was in for a shock. And my daughter said, no, I'm going to do. And she's doing well. She did well for herself. So very important as parent, try and understand your child. Don't hold them. The more you hold them, the more they'll run away from you. The more you leave them, the more they'll come back to you and they'll respect you. When their friends are there, adolescents, children drop in, you don't have to sit there. Come on. Imagine you're sitting with your office meeting and your children keep coming in. How irritating it is for us. The same way, respect their space. It's their friends. Let them talk. I've seen parents who stand behind closed doors, crying, eavesdrop. The kids are talking. Are they talking drugs? Come on. And let me tell you also, parents might be shocked. Every adolescent kid, 80% kids have tried drugs. 80%, I'm not lying. They have tried. If they have not continued it, it's because of the honesty and the transparency with their parents. But the parents who have not been transparent, those it is sold outside school premises. What are you talking? So the least we can do is trust them that they will not do anything wrong, guide them, and let them be happy. Because a happy child is a healthy child. And a healthy child can achieve the impossible in this world. It is very important. And I want to just end, because I know, Monica, 20 minutes, I just forgot. I forgot the time. I'm so sorry. I want to end with a beautiful story, which I love, so that parents understand. And you must have heard it, but it's important to hear it again. It's about how the butterfly comes out from a cocoon. And one passerby, he saw that the cocoon, the little thing struggling inside the cocoon. So he thought, why not cut it? So that the butterfly will come out and fly. Poor thing, she's struggling. So he cut it. And that butterfly could never fly, because he forgot the strength which she gets in her wings through that push and pull is what makes the butterfly wings stronger. And that's what we do to our children. We just don't, we want to give them everything so that they don't realize the value of things. Happy parenting and all the best to everybody. Thank you so much, Monica.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shalini ma'am. It was really wonderful. So now we have another guest. Before that, I will just request everyone to just mute, because we don't want any disturbance in between. So yeah. So our next panelist is Professor Romita Suresh Vishwanathan. And she has more than 30 years of professional experience of teaching, facilitation, coaching, counseling at various levels, B schools, colleges, and corporate sector. She has also worked as an instructional designer at Pune's two largest e-learning developers and served as a counselor in two leading BPOs in Pune. Currently, she is the ED of Sumero Learning Solutions, and she has done her master's in psychology, which is organizational behavior. She holds a PG certificate in business management from XLRI, Jamshedpur. She has qualified the UGC NET of eligibility for lectureship psychology and also holds a PG in counseling and guidance from NCERT, New Delhi. She was pursuing her PhD from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She is a visiting faculty to premier B schools at Pune, Pune University Masters in Business Administration, Symbiosis, Balaji Institutes, Asian School of Management, DY Patil, DSK, and the list goes on. Teaching organizational behavior there, HRM training and development. And she's also into HR auditing, competency mapping, business communication, and soft skills. She has developed and conducted various management development programs in the areas of personal and organizational goal setting, women empowerment, motivation, and dreaming, thinking big, managerial effectiveness, communication skills. Presenting also skills, kinesthetics and body language, written and business communication skills, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. She has also been able, or she's also facilitated outbound training programs. So I really welcome Professor Romita today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Shalini ma'am, you were just awesome. It was so good. You already covered so many things that I wanted to speak. So I'm really grateful to you for doing that. And quickly, I will, like a typical professor, share my screen and show you some.
Yes, the topic she's covering today is the parents' role, how parents can role model and then bring about a change in adolescent behavior. So yeah.
And in order to be a good role model, I just feel that it's also very essential to be able to kind of, be comfortable with what we are first as parents. Okay, so let me just start the thing. I hope the screen is visible. Some of you can unmute and share with me.
Yeah,
Yes,
it is visible.
Yeah, so the first question that I would like to ask each one of you, including my other co-panelists, is that what is it that prevents us from experiencing that zing in our life? So I'm going to just remember that question. What is it that prevents us from experiencing the zing in our life? So please tell me. You can unmute and talk, or you can type, anyone. Let it be quickly interactive. What is it that stops you from being your amazing, bouncy and happening and happy and confident self? So what is it that is stopping us? What are the barriers, Dr. Ram? What is it that really stops us?
Might be the hypothesis or the concept or the belief or the cultural conditions which are making the people to get the barrier. So it is stopping them to evolve completely as per their passion or as per their dream to support for getting realized in the current situation, because there are something like bias creations which are making the barriers for them to believe on certain strategy, to not to believe on certain strategy. So which are the correct things like that. So it is a confusional kind of.
Super, absolutely super. So I picked up words like, little bit about self-belief, a little bit about, trust and faith in the self. Then there is something also called a little bit of fear about what's going to happen in the future, or what's, fear of being rejected or being judged by other people around. So these are some of the things. So quickly, I will, some stuff that I put together. I started with, something that really stops us is actually the fear. So the word fear itself is false evidence appearing real. So what is the biggest fear that we all have? the fear of being rejected. And as parents, what is our biggest fear? The fear of being rejected by not only the outsiders, but also by our own adolescent kids or by our growing up kids and grown up kids. So this is something that we also kind of fear about when it comes to children, that are they being surrounded by negative people? And that's what Shalini ma'am said, that we are constantly trying to listen to what the kids are doing just because we are afraid that they might get into bad company. But okay, forget about them. Ask yourself, are you surrounding yourself with good people? Are you spending more time with people who are making you feel good? And are you making your kids feel good? Are you scolding them the way normal parents do, or are you even looking at loving things around them? So the most important thing at this age is developing the self-image. And trust me, the world is out there telling our kids that they're not good enough, because we tend to constantly feel picked upon and all that. So let's just working on their self-image. And there are songs which you can sing to your kids, there are poetries that you can write, you can praise them, you can compliment them, appreciate them, be grateful for the fact that they were born to you. I'll tell you my example, that I really struggled when I was about 27, 28. Only then I got married, and then I realized that the husband and the entire family did not want me to have children, and they had a different agenda in their mind. So I didn't know what to do. But then I kept begging my child to come, and somehow my baby happened in a very natural way when the doctors had told me that I cannot have my baby. So when my child was born, I used to keep telling him that you're God for me, you're my Krishna, you are my Kana, you are my, you are my Jesus, and I am your mother Mary. Why I'm using that is because I'm from St. Mary's, Allahabad. So, that immaculate conception and that whole thing about, I was so grateful that my child came to me. And there were times when I used to even be frustrated because of my life and all that, and I used to just, he was not even doing something, and I would just go and give him a little scolding, or I would just sometimes even, he did a little something bad and I would even thrash him sometimes, like give him a little chamat or something. So then people told me that don't do that, you're traumatizing your kid. And I said nothing happens. I've read it in transaction analysis that kids are Indian kids. They need to be thrashed a little bit here and there also. And we have given birth to our kids for our convenience. Okay. So I would like to see all your faces at this time and say that, are you okay with the fact that I'm telling you that, if I use a bit in Hindi, that हमने अपने सुख के लिए बच्चों को पैदा किया है. We have produced children for our pleasure. Okay. And obviously most of us have had pleasure and then produced them. So we should enjoy our children even when they're grown up. And so what? So what if I want my child to be this and that and that and that? So there are times, and if I'm a little mean to my kid also, as a parent, I would like to tell you it's okay. Okay. And I can tell you one thing, what even Shalini ma'am said, that, kids are nowadays pampered a bit too much, or, we are like helicopter parents. Don't be that. Okay. Let them switch on their own fans and their own ACs in their rooms. Leave them alone. Sometimes they like to be left alone. Let them be. And, you just treat them the way you want to treat them. Okay. I mean, at your convenience. I mean, don't get so tensed about being very nice parents. Sometimes you can even scold them and criticize them also. And, when my son, I'll just show you his photograph also a little while. When my son says, Mama, you're traumatizing me. So I look at him and I say, it's my birthright to traumatize you, because you've taken birth from me. Okay. So I can traumatize you. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying it's just okay. Just be there for your kids, stroke them, write a love letter to them. Okay. Tell them how much you love them. And at the same time, if they don't, write a letter to yourself on their behalf. Do it with your husbands, do it with your wives, do it with your, your friends who don't love you or whatever. Write a letter on their behalf to yourself and say, oh, I love you. Okay, keep looking at yourself in the mirror and keep giving affirmations and great self-talk to yourself. And one of the biggest examples that I can share with you is, I haven't put his photograph over here, is Anil Kapoor. See how old he is. He's slightly older than my husband also, and still he looks like a young dude. He's now come in as parent, but left to him, he would still be behaving like Shah Rukh Khan and all these people. They're all older than I am, and I'm 52. Okay, and yet these guys are like acting as whatever it is. So keep telling yourself all this. That just remember that God has a plan for you, and the path may seem unclear right now, but one day you will see that all that came before was truly meant to be, and God wrote the book that is your life, and that's all you need to know, is that your day that you're living today was written long ago. And remember one thing, that God writes only bestsellers, so be proud of who you are, because in your character, in your book of life, and the character of your children, is that you are basically a star. You are the hero. You are the heroine. So stop wherever you are. In Marathi, we say thamba. Just pause. Take a rest. Take a pause and stop and think and act with respect, first for yourself and for your children. And of course, for your parents, because they've given birth to you. But you have chosen your parents from up there, like Buddha. And what Buddha said was that all that you are right now is a result of what you've thought. So if there's something about yourself, or if there's something that you don't like about your children, just start thinking in a different way about them. Start visualizing, start using this secret thing, because this picture's also been taken from the movie of Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, which says that you can just change the way you think about the people around you, your children and your parents, and you find that everything is possible. So there is a video over here which I'm not going to show, but it's about this guy who's born without arms and legs. Now he couldn't help it, but he got married to this pretty girl, and not only did he have one child over here as a son, when he gave birth to this baby, people went crazy on Father's Day wishing him, and he was like, ultimately gave birth to one more son and twins, these little girls. So he's one of the most inspiring motivational speakers, and he kind of is available online wherever. I've got some videos about him. I can share it with you maybe later. And what Shalini ma'am spoke about was that we need to develop a sense of trust in our children, so that if they make a mistake, they can just come to us. Okay? And for trust, we need that competence. We need these three things in life. There is competence, confidence, and character. This was a paper written by my husband a long time ago and published also. So I picked it up from him. Competence you already have. The fact that your parents, you're already competent enough. Okay. So congratulations, kudos to you. Confidence is what you already have also. Okay, and character also, you obviously wish the best for your children. So please trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. Okay, now Eric Erickson as Eric Erickson has a very similar.
Come on, screenshot this thing for me.
I'm actually sharing the screen, so it'll be tough for me to mute you. But thank you for muting yourself. So kind of you. And somebody just, yeah, thank you so much. So kind of you. Okay, so Eric Erickson spoke about the fact that growth happens throughout the life. According to Sigmund Freud, one of the most popular psychologists, as ma'am said that I have qualified my net in subject psychology. So Sigmund Freud is one of my favorite psychologists, but also followed by Carl Gustav Jung. But Eric Erickson is also my favorite psychologist. He said that it's not just the first 5 years or the first 7 years that makes up the character of a person or the personality of a person. It is right from the time, the person is in the mother's womb till even beyond the death of a person, that a personality of a person is formed. Okay, so looking at this chart, I have just copied it, that when an infant is very, piddu and it's very small and all that. The mother is very important, and the child develops trust at that moment. And most of us as parents have already done that for our children. Okay. And as they grow, they start becoming autonomous, you know, as compared to their shame and doubt. That's, you know, when they're toddlers, then they become a little more conscious about their potty training, etc. And parents, like, you know, kind of help them in holding on to their feces or letting go at a particular time. They develop a sense of discipline also, and they, you know, kind of develop their will and their determination. As they grow older, they learn how to take initiative, they learn how to eat their food themselves, they learn how to hold the glass themselves, they learn how to you know, run and participate in small games, and they start going to preschool, etc. So that's when they develop their purpose and their courage. And as they grow, we give them a lot of toys to play with, and that's when they learn how to, you know, become industrious. If we stop our children from playing in the dirt, if we stop our children from climbing the trees because we are afraid that they'll scratch, or we, you know, we are afraid of dogs ourselves, so we say don't go near the dogs, it doesn't matter, nothing will happen. Even if you have to give them a few injections of rabies and all that, it's okay. Let the children be free, let them be open. In Singapore, etc., we don't have problems of, you know, animals on the road, but in India we do. And that's how so many kids are so strong. So that's how they develop their competence. And when they reach the adolescent stage, and that's what we're talking about, that's when they develop their ego identity, and, you know, role confusion happens. So they don't understand whether to be themselves or to share themselves with others. So that's when, you know, they are kind of developing role models and having other people around them. And this is what I'm going to be talking about. And as we grow older, you may be maybe in the mid adult area or above that, you find that a lot of things happen. So who basically are our role models? We start with our parents, with our grandparents. If it's a joint family system, we may have grandparents. And then when we go out, we have some teachers. We also have some, you know, people like, my role model is Sushmita Sen. When I wanted to be slim, trim, and that getting into that oomph factor, somehow I've not even gotten over her. And I'm so happy she's found a partner for herself. But you know, instead of asking universe, the universe, you know, as to what they can do for us, we should ask them what we are, and I mean what we can do for our parents and for the universe around us. So our parents are our first role model. According to Sigmund Freud, we copy our parents, we behave like our parents, we want to be like our parents. You know, the first thing in the phallic stage, that is the third stage of development according to Sigmund Freud, when we feel that we cannot compete with the same gender of the parent, you know, as opposed to, we fall in love with the opposite gender of the parent. Like girls fall in love with their fathers and boys fall in love with their mothers, and they go through what is called the Oedipus complex and the Electra complex. So when they're not able to compete, you know, the father, because the father is continuously with the mother and you are not allowed to have an intimate relationship with the mother, so then boys start, you know, wearing a mustache and, you know, pretending to be holding a cigarette in their hand or talking like the father, you know, wearing the specs. And the little girls want to put their lipstick like the mother does. And sometimes boys first want to wear the lipstick because they love their mother so much. So if the mother's applying lipstick, even they want to do that. So as small kids, if you've noticed it, I can share examples of my nephew, you know, the way he, you know, role modeled his mom, and he was so much in love with his mom. So one day we were watching, and I was not yet married. So he was just about 2.5 years old, and he was going through his phallic stage. And I just discussed this with my mother and with my sister, that he's going through this phase. So we were going through the wedding photographs of my sister, and he saw that his mother had got married to his father, obviously. So the mother had got married to daddy. So he just looked and he said, you know, Mama, I also want to marry. And, you know, will you marry me? So the mother said, look, can't you see, just I'm already married. So he was like, oh my God, my mother's already married. Now what do I do? Who do I marry? So his next role model was the Masi, okay, the mother's sister. So now he was a little confused because he used to only come for holidays to Allahabad, Prayagraj, which is now. So he wondered, he said, when my mother comes here, daddy doesn't come with my mom. So maybe there is, another husband, or maybe Masi is also married. So his first question to me was, Masi, are you married? And this little Piddu, 2.5-year-old, is proposing to me. And I was like, so excited. This is going to be my first proposal of my life. A man was going to ask me to marry him. And he looked at me and, innocently he said, marry me. He did not say, will you marry me? He just asserted, marry me. And I said, of course I will. So then my sister said, he's not proposing to you, he's just saying, marry me. Okay, not be done with it, just marry him. So that's how kids are. They actually do look up to us. They're crazily in love with us. And we don't realize it because we've not understood Sigmund Freud's, this Oedipus complex and Electra complex of how our children are mad for us. And we are so busy in our own life. We are so busy struggling with our own peers and our friends and our, mothers-in-law. I would say mothers-in-law because we have multiple mothers-in-law. Trust me, many of us women will realize that even in India, the maids who are working for us are more a mother-in-law than our own mother-in-law. Or maybe sometimes our own mother is more of a mother-in-law than. On that little note, let me just take it forward that for me, I just know that my parents were my role models. I just loved my mom. And I felt that she was the most perfect woman in this universe. And I lost my mom 4 years ago, and I know that she loved me a lot. I mean, I was the one she loved more than she loved. She had an Oedipus complex for me. She wanted me to be her son, and she did not want me to be married to anyone else. So my husband had to directly compete with her to be, get my attention, and so did my son. So anyway, and my dad is still around. So I really love them both. And this little hair that you can see here is mine. And my sister was here, but then I have taken her out. But I really love my sister also. She's also my role model. She introduced me to this beautiful thing called reading. So remember what ma'am spoke about? That reading is so important. So be a reader and do that. And my ultimate role model is my husband. And nowadays it's also my son. So that's my son on this side and my husband. So I love you both, Divyansh Vishwanath and Suresh Vishwanath. So now the question is, who's your role model? Okay? And understand that it's not just who's your role model, but how to make yourself that model, that amazing, perfect, and is perfection really possible? We can only strive for excellence. So with that, we can just kind of get people to trust us by being open and by being liked, and rapport building is possible. It is possible through mirroring and matching, and it really kind of happens with the way we mirror and match the gesture, postures, facial expression, way of talking, the style of teaching, the style of being, the style of cooking, everything we mirror and match of the people that we really love, and our children mirror and match us. At this stage, I will just like to stop and ask you this question. How many of you really went through this stage of, when your parents used to scold you, you used to start copying them and start monkey aping them? Like if your father would say, I'll hit you. So you also used to, pick up a little stick and say, I'll hit you. And then you say, you talking like this to me? So you talking like this to me? And, you would go running and the parent would go running. And then after some time, what would happen? Come on, any one of you just give me the response. I'm expecting a genuine response. Tell me, what would happen when you would copy your parents? Or your children would copy you and they would actually be irritating you. Tell me what would happen. Unmute yourself and speak. Yes, Preeti.
I have not copied myself, but I see my son doing it with me. How dare you did this to me?
Huh.
And then we are running around each other until he makes me apologize. Don't do it again. It's my body. It's my wish.
But don't you apologize? How do you feel about him when he does copies you? Do you feel
I don't know.
Do you feel angry with him, or do you just are willing to?
No, it is a mirror for me, and I realized that it was a bad thing I did.
Oh, when I can just tell you that when my son or I did it with my parents, we would both land up laughing, okay, and giggling, and we would forget the negativity that happened between us, okay, and that irritation would be gone. So it's a very scientific process, and if I would just like to tell you all that this is a process that has been introduced to me via NLP. So this is something which we don't need to be taught. We've been doing it. But neuro-linguistic programming, this is one of the techniques of building rapport with people, is start mirroring, matching them, literally copying their behavior, even their irritated, angry behavior. If someone is shouting at you, you just say the same words in the same tone, shout back, or just, kind of be a little more, you'll be so surprised that, the energy, the negativity or whatever gets diffused, and you land up loving each other because that's you're speaking in the same language. So this is another thing that I hope, you will have picked up as a tip from me, because I've really made it happen and I've seen that it really works. And then in life, what happens is that it's now going to a little different level, that you start pacing it. Okay. Now, this is a long process, and I could give you an example of how I have actually, when I learned about it in XLRI from a professor, and how I mirrored and matched a complete stranger across the room. And then I started pacing it because I got bored. And then suddenly I didn't realize that I was leading that person. And that's what happens in life. When you are a role model and someone looks up to you, so your fan or the person who is looking up to you becomes more important than what you are. God or a teacher or a celebrity, a star, is nobody unless they have followers. So it is them, it's because of them that we are what we are. Okay.
I agree with you. Yes, Romita, I agree with you.
Right. So let's just understand the value of being a role model. You will be given the capacity, you have the capacity to be the role model because of the person to whom you are a role model to. Okay, please understand that. Okay, and with that, thank you, Bologna. Thank you so much from Nigeria that you're supporting me, and I'm so happy that you're getting it. And
yes, I really understand it, Romita. That means as a role model, you must be very careful because someone else is looking at you. Whatever you do, we go a long way, positively or negatively. So as a role model, you must be very, very careful.
Yes, and you got to learn to love them, because there are many of us. There are many of us who love our role models, but when we love somebody unconditionally, we accept their faults also. We understand that they are human beings too. Okay, like when I was in love with Amitabh Bachchan, and then I heard that he was a womanizer, and or even the others, all are womanizers actually. So, you know, now that doesn't go down well. But when you love a person very much, you're willing to accept them with all their faults, with all their problems. And, you know, you just realize that you have it, they have it in them to kind of, you know, just, okay, these are some of the things that I had put over here, that in case you don't know how to, just don't worry, you know, you just have to ask people, ask the experts right here in this room. Each one of us is an expert. So please feel free to talk to us, Dr. Ram, Dr. Shalini, Dr. Monica, you know, Ashok Beera ma'am. Just even with my experience, etc. Just feel free to ask people for help and get it, and remove the T of the can't. You can if you think you can. Learn how to use your left brain, the right brain, and be there for people who just need you. Give them a big hug. Emotionally, you know, be resilient and realize that any negative thing that's happening will also just pass. Be empathetic, and I repeat, you know, be there for people who need you. And if there's no one, just give yourself a big hug, okay? And you can do it by, you know, just embracing yourself, by raising your left hand, putting it on your right shoulder, by raising your right hand and putting it, you know, on your waist, and just loving yourself. Do that, and be aware of what's happening in the mind of your children. And even if they are kids or they've grown up, it doesn't matter. Understand that there's sleeping problems that they're having, or consistently, you know, they're having some cold cough or rashes or eating disorders or any kind of such, you know, events. Realize that it's okay. And nowadays children are so restless. I mean, I know that in the evening, sometimes with kids, I'm playing some cards, you know, to like we wanted to play badminton, and ultimately we did that. Children are just constantly on their mobiles, and we can't help it. Okay, there was a little video by my husband when he talked in MIT, but then I'm going to skip that, and we've got to just ask ourselves, how much is too much? Too much of loving, too much of, you know, parenting, too much of whatever it is. I would just say that there's nothing like, you know, there cannot be too much loving. Just love them and do not be bothered about, you know, what they feel. Just love them, but set the rules, establish it, let them be independent, and you be consistent. If you are a nasty parent, continue being nasty, because that will also, you know, kind of help them. And please be like the people in Uttar Pradesh in India. When we scold our children, also we call them up, and we say, "Aap ye theek nahi kar rahe hain." This language of English has got you, where you address the seniors and the juniors as you. But be whatever be your native language, in that show respect to your children even when you're scolding them, and say sorry to them. Handle your own stress, prioritize your life, prepare yourself, set goals for yourself. And then please understand, you also need to create a little sanctuary for yourself. Your bedroom or your children's bedroom should be some place, or a study room, or a corner in the house, or anywhere in the world, which is your life. And you know, create an equilibrium between the work and life, to be a superman and the superwoman in your life, to be a multi, you know, faceted person, and to be able to sustain that super man and superwoman, whatever that power is, you know, of that Marvel comics. We need that energy, and we also need that synergy. So we are here today, you know, for you all. Be it wherever you are, think big, dream big, and just understand one thing, that you are basically an awesome person, and there's nothing in this world that can stop you from being an awesome parent. So with that, if there are any questions, I'm willing to share. And later on, if time permits, I'll share a small video with you, and I hand it back to Monica ma'am. Thank you so much, all of you, for the patient and kind listening. God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really interesting and very, very insightful. So our next panelist, I would invite now Dr. B. Ramanathan. He is the founder and managing director of ACE International, Singapore. He is a PhD holder in biomedical science with more than 20 years of experiences in research and development, learning and development, business and development in India, Taiwan, and Singapore. His research experiences engaged in biomedical science and clinical research areas in renowned institutions as well as healthcare industries. He has published several research articles, book chapters, and also provided keynote address in conferences and seminars. He has also received several awards and rewards for his achievements. He is a WSQ CTA certified trainer come assessor to coordinate training and facilitation programs under a approved training organization affiliated to Workforce Development Authority, Singapore. He's an expert in quality, environment, health and safety, internal audit process and procedures for institutions, companies, and industries. He is holding several positions and memberships in a number of social organizations and professional associations in national and international level. He is currently acting as Vice Chairman, Parent Support Group in Tanglin Secondary School, Singapore. Further, he has acted as mentor and coach for many projects to guide them. His burning desire is to offer the professional consultancy services in business and management, learning and development, innovative technology transfer segments. He is passionate in supporting to raise investments and procure business funding for companies, institutions, and industries who wish to upscale their business operation into next level. Welcome, sir. And today he will be speaking on the topic Disruptive Challenges Induce Behavioral Changes in Adolescents. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Madam Monica, for giving the wonderful introduction about me. Hopefully, everybody could catch us a little bit about me. And it is a great time for me whenever I'm connecting through some kind of a conversational session like this. And it is also connecting to my mind and body because I am always fond of with the kind to nurture the youngsters, especially because our future is in their hands. Their future is now with our hands. So we have to make ourselves, how do we interact with them, how to engage them, how to make them to explore for the global scenario in future, because they don't able to imagine and they don't able to connect to the reality, what is going on, what is going to be happen in future. So it is the time for us, and we are having our own past experience, and we could able to understand about the futuristic vision. How do they able to go and change the current conditions? As an entrepreneur, as an educational personality, I'm having little bit in my mind to share with you. Also as a parent to handle with the teenage of my daughter. So I could able to share my vision and my experience and my fellow parental community. So it is a great time for me. Thank you. So I will start from slide sharing. So can you see the slides? Is it visible?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. As Madam Monica already revealed about the today topic, what I am going to share with you people is disruptive challenges induce adolescent behaviors. From these cartoonic pictures, what do you feel? How do you think? Anyone can answer for that? Please unmute and answer. From
Lots of knowledge, lots of information, exchange of information. where we have so many things happening in our mind, in our brain. That's what I think.
Of course, it's exactly very much true, because always our mind is dreaming. Always it is storing certain kind of information which are coming out from our external environment, and our way we are dreaming for certain things to fix in our mind, how to make the goals setting, how to achieve the goals, how to make ourselves fit into the environment what we are dreaming. So it is absolutely true. And also the conditions in the school atmosphere, they are loading the systematic approach for the curricular learning portions, because it is the qualification oriented atmosphere. They have certain kind of frameworks, syllabus, and they wanted to upload onto the brain of the young children, because it is the systematic approach and well proven for the past periods, and they are following the same system, how to engage the children to learn and explore in their curricular pattern. Nowadays, it is also having certain kind of extracurricular add-on value education, which are making them to become stronger personality and knowledgeful community. So we have external influence as of now. They are coming from the disruptive challenges induced digital transformations. That's why these cartoonic pictures I wanted to showcase to you. Myself, Dr. B. Ramanathan, I'm the founder and managing director, ACE International Private Limited. ACE defends for Aspire Community Excellence. And we are thinking as a globalized kind of vision. So we have to coin ACE International Private Limited. So I wish to mention how many people here they could able to understand how the human life is engaging their period kind of transformations, that pre-adolescent, adolescent, young adult, and the full adult conditions. So we are having certain kind of period like 10 years old to 19 years old, where the teenagers are becoming kind of transformation from losing their childish behaviors, and they are focusing to get the maturity from the surrounding environment, which are very, very vibrant as of now. So we have to think how much it is getting influential by the disruptive technologies induced challenges. Here, there are several technologies we can able to coin. That is the cyber security, industry 4.0, or big data analysis, artificial intelligence, and IoT, Internet of Things, robotics, autonomous vehicles. There are so many ways the disruptive challenges induced digital transformation are going to influence a lot and lot. Industry 4.0 is now referring as intelligent industry, because every industries, every company, they wanted to adopt the digital transformational solutions, because it is the kind of competitiveness among with their competitive companies, as well as the global scenario is making themselves to transform towards the digitalization environment. So we have to think about the simulation model, where you can showcase certain kind of training or certain kind of teaching patterns. You have to create a lot of simulations. Now we are in the Zoom also, it is the kind of digital transformational solutions and supports for the people to connect, even though you are in India or you are in different corner of the world. And we can able to keep in touch, and we can align together for a session like this. So that is the way the futuristic things are going to emerge, and it is embedded with the industrial 4.0. There are so many areas we can able to think. The blockchain oriented kind of decentralization, cyber security kind of online security forces, how to enable the people to keep and plug and play with the secure natures. And so many areas like storages now, the cloud computing kind of supports are making yourself to storage certain kind of data in the cloud storage platforms. And there are many data produced each and every day, how to intervene and analyze that kind of data sources for the betterment of the human society as well as futuristic purpose. The social context according to the adolescent relationship, how do we able to explain it? Because we are having the 21st century children, how do we able to engage and educate them? That is the main questions in front of us as of now. Even though the online education pattern because of COVID-19 situation spread everywhere, but still it is for the most very difficult for, especially in the emerging countries, because they don't have the infrastructures or facilities how to manage the online education, that is home-based learning or some kind of remote based learning. Emotional well-being is very, very important in this digital age. And how do we able to compartmental these kind of things? The individuals must have the neighborhood relationship very well, and the relationship is going to formulate a kind of community. This community is becoming the social context. So we have to make all these small circles to the bigger circle. We have to look into the deepest kind of vision, the deepest kind of scenario. How do we able to intervene with this small circle to the largest circles? Then how do we able to measure the adolescent connectedness? How do they able to keep engaging, keep related to the environment, keep envisaging for the futuristic happenings? So the future oriented things are taken care by the schools, and they are making the academic syllabus, and they are studying over there, and they are preparing to transfer the knowledge to the community, especially the student community. And these are all very important when the students are in the naive mind, like the primary school or preschool atmospheres, that is different. But when they are becoming a kind of secondary school or junior college level, the transformation is very vibrant. So when they are becoming adult, they are getting self or self-enterprise kind of occupations in their mindset. So that is the way they are behaving out of the parents into the friends community, into the social community. So that is the way they learn certain kind of cultural values. So as a family, we are following a certain kind of religioustic custom, or the conditions they are living in a family harmonious kind of situation. They can able to relate to those kind of parental roles, because before my talk, Romita ji also mentioning her family members are the role model. So many children, they are taking either the parent, father or mother as a role model, and they are having the characteristic features of their parents or siblings to reflect in their future life. Now we are having the generations like different kind of age groups. We can able to make silent generation. I don't know how many people have that in their life now, but the baby boomers who born in between 1946 to 1964, generation X is 1965 to 1980, and the millennials 1981 to 96, generation Z, that is Zen generation 1997 to 2012, generation Alpha, that is the children or youngest children group as of now, early 2010 to 2020. So we have to think, how do we embrace this kind of generation of different particular groups? Now it is very much influential from the millennials to the generation Alpha, influenced by the digital sources. Disruptive challenges, what we are facing, we are not very good and familiar to that, but they are all very good and familiar to that, because they are all born with gadgets. So that is the way their life embracement strategies are different for them. As per present day, the schools are catering with the generation Z, that is the children are between 6 to 18 years old. The Gen Zers have not been having any kind of atmosphere without technology, because wherever they are going, they are getting influenced with the technology kind of stuff. There are nearly 60% of Gen Z. They are saying they are collaborating and sharing the knowledge with the others by online. It is the good support for them, and 93% of the students, they are confident on their understanding is coming through the technology sources, and 50% of the Gen Z, they can't able to live without YouTube or any other social media platform, because that is the day-to-day kind of living style for them. So technology is the must one. So every schools, every educational institutions must need to think about how to cater well for the Gen Z to learn and explore well. We can compare with the millennials and the Gen Z group because they are all having the generation pattern between the kind of situations, kind of explorations. Millennials also tech savvy, but Gen Z are tech innovative people because they are very much dreaming and they are innovating a lot in their mind. Millennials are very much good in communication with the text, but Gen Z group are very much picture kind of thing, video graphics kind of thing, animation kind of thing. That's why I use mostly the slides for everywhere because I can't able to imagine without this kind of flowchart pictures or graphs. So these are all the things. Millennials are more optimistic, but Gen Zs are very much realistic because they are connected to the realities. Millennials want to be getting discover many things, but Gen Z groups want to work for the success because they are quantitating the success formula. So we are having current students and alumni with the millennials, but prospective students are the Gen Z. That's why I'm willing to talk about the group who are embedding with the teenagers of now. Learning and development pattern completely changed because last 20 years back, we did not have this kind of digital solutions or supporting elements in the technology. But as of now, it is getting optimized for the new age psychometrics, especially for learning. Earlier, it was 10% of the classroom or coursework or training or any kind of concepts or conceptualization. But now it is 70% depending with the challenging projects. In Singapore, many institutions, they follow the problem-based learning, PBL. That is the way they are engaging lot of assignments, lot of works are related to the assignments to keep them to continue the study with the realistic approach. So 20% is the peer learning or any kind of guides or supervisor, coaching them, mentoring them kind of support. So we must need to think the learning model from earlier situation like 10, 20, 70, but now it is 70, 20, 10. So most of them are involving with the assignments and projects. And now we have to think about what is the gap between the infantiveness, because Romita and people, Monica also mentioned about that. And we have to think about the youngsters are the kind of naive-minded people. Whatever they are having, the behavioral inhibition, it is getting into their mind. It cannot be erased and they cannot able to transform into the confident kind of manner because they are fixing with certain kind of fear or certain kind of scarcity in their mind. So it is very, very difficult. So we must need to give more attention towards the infant child development. That's why now the preschool children, they are getting more engagement for this kind of adolescent behavior and they are going to transform in future. So every decades, we can able to get changed into the pattern of the childhood into the adolescent age or any kind of senior members. So the personality in the social relationship are very much important, and it is making the well-being in the mindset, that is the mental health and the social presence or social status. The adolescent health, especially the teens are more depressed and they are losing their sleeping conditions. So we must need to focus a lot. This is the 10-year gap between 2005 to 2015, especially conducted for the 14 years old children. And we can able to see the sleeping disorders, sleepless kind of conditions are more with the children. It is getting increased. And the next one is they're trying to use certain kind of alcohol or drugs, or they are getting addicted for that. That is getting alarmed for the conditions as of now. And we have to focus for many kind of children behaviors. It is getting deviated from the earlier generation to the current generation. That is the way we have to make ourselves. How do we intervene with that? How do we approach to rectify for their problems? Because parental duty is they have to nurture the children for the futuristic good personality. So they must need to think about that. The next alarming thing is rates of obesity is getting increased because the eating behaviors and other behaviors are increasing a lot. Stress also a kind of stimulation for the obesity. So we must need to handle all these kind of factors. How do we understand better about the adolescent behavior? There are so many psychological results and reports are available. we can characterize certain things. It is also supporting for the people. They wanted to be isolated and be very independent kind of nature, and they are getting attracted towards the opposite sex during the adolescent condition. And it is also swinging in the mood because they are always fantasy oriented people. Sometimes it is increasing the aggressiveness to learn something new, and they have to showcase their championship into that kind of thing. So they are all becoming these kind of fascinated oriented dreaming conditions. So we must need to think about how do we able to project the values for them, making them to align with the disciplinary or moral or empathy kind of situations. That is the way we have to think. The correct attitude is they should not get some kind of rebellious attitude. They have to align with the good moral and ethical attitude. That is the main thing we have to think, because it is all changing a person to a personality. So these are all very important and very sensitive as of now. How do we understand about the teen behavior? There are typical teenage behaviors. It is inducing a lot of changes, especially the attentions. They are not very much attentive to the parents as of now, because they are getting influenced by the surrounding friends or social happenings and other things. And they are getting some kind of changes in the motivational aspects, which are getting influential for them to get the correct motivations or wrong motivations. That is also very much alarming as of now. Changes in the risk-taking behavior, that is also very considerable, because they don't want to take high risk. They are afraid of taking the risk. But before 2 generations or something, they are having a lot of courageous to take the risk. But as of now, risk-taking performance are getting reduced. So we must need to think and how to make it more normal for them, how to focus for the normal way they can able to achieve the greater thing in their life. Adolescent psychology mentions that is what are the things are making the teens they are getting different, and how do they able to go through with the psychological help from the parental side. Especially they have to attach with the parents, because parents must need to be understanding about the children requirements, and they have to behave not like a parent to come to them, but also behaving like a friends and a role model. That is very important. We have to make them to understand about the social mechanisms that are getting different period of time, and we must need to think about that, how to align with the correct situation for the social transformations. That is also very important. Moral and ethical disciplinary kind of attitude is very important. So as a parent, you have to make that kind of things to align with their mindset, because mindfulness is making them to make more confident on the conditions, and able to challenge with the kind of situations, any situation they can able to mitigate in the correct way. And identity, that positioning for them, that is very important. Self identity and self efficacy is a much more confident kind of things to build in their mind. And we have to make them how to get the help from the surrounding situation to build the confidentiality on their self establishments or self embracements. Always parentings or caregiver, there is no excuse, because parenting kind of tendencies are they are caregiving kind of influences, and they are especially they are when they are nurturing their children, they are concerning about the eating behaviors. Sometimes they are making the demand very high, and they are controlling very strict, but sometimes they are being very responsive. So we have to think about the conditions of responsiveness and demandingness. We can categorize 4 groups, like authoritarian, when demanding is high and the responses are low. When they are having more demanding and the responsiveness high, that become very supreme authoritative conditions. There are low demandingness and low responsiveness. They are not very much involved with their children's need. So children's support, that is very alarming things. When demanding is low but responsive is high, so they are becoming more intelligent. So they are getting the responsibility towards the children, and they are supporting for the kind of uh, requirement for the needy things at that condition. That is very alarming to think about that. The responsiveness are very high, but the demand is low. How do we differentiate the short-term and long-term, especially for the eating disorders in the person? because we have to make the consequences of disordered eating behaviors. That is very, very alarming things for each and everyone to think and prosper well. Short term is making some kind of disorders like slow wound healing or some kind of bacterial infections are prone for them. These any kind of microbial infections, some kind of menstrual disruptions for the young girls, and severe dehydration for them. So electrolyte imbalance, diabetic acidosis are formulating. Long term is eye disease like retinopathy, macular edema, peripheral neuropathy. These kind of associated complex diseases are getting induced because of the abnormal eating behavior in their children time, especially the teenage time. So it is going to prone for them sometimes getting chronic diseases like something kidney disease, liver disease, heart disease, or strokes, this kind of thing. Sometimes it is creating the fatality. So we must need to be careful about that. The current landscape for the adolescent risk behavior, as I already mentioned, we have to promote the positive adolescent health behaviors. That is very, very important because the challenges are coming from the surrounding, but at the same time, we have to consider how to make the behavioral changes and the outcome is getting aligned for their futuristic purpose. Money is crucial. Many children, they are thinking my family is poor, they can't afford the requirement for me to get me into my dream realized. So that is the, please mute yourself. So they are also getting self-confidence because they are believing on that they can able to do. They wanted to drive out the fear case of things that they are going to lose something. So we have to focus for that. Demand in the educational system are very vibrant as of now because it is also a kind of competitiveness among the schools, among the educational ecosystem. We must need to think how to manage, how to tackle the pressure, tackle the stressful situation for the exams and other competitions which are getting troubled for the young adults, especially the teenagers. And fear and insecurity also very important. We have to focus well how to remove the fear case, how to build the confidence to make themselves to transform from the insecure status to secure conditions. Stress, as of now, it is very obvious because COVID-19 is not allowing them to mingle with the normal conditions like previous COVID situation. They are losing their friendship. They are getting the social communications or social bonding is reduced, and they can't able to go and mingle with the relations who are living in other countries or other places. So it is all stopping them. So the stress relief is very, very important for them to consider, and the mental health and well-being also focused very well. Job, because futuristic jobs are going to change a lot because we are getting that warrior between human resource to the machine resource. Machine resources are going to eradicate a lot of manual jobs in future. So we have to focus very well how to mold them, how to get into the job market in the correct way by way of learning certain good things and making themselves fit to the environment to work. Time frames are getting changed because of the digitalization. They can able to work for a long time, they are studying for a long time, they are keeping engaged in the social life for a long time. So we have to go with the timetable like a time investment or time management kind of attitude, how to make them very discipline oriented, how to get into the time frame to finish the task. That is also very, very important. Make the good relationship with the surrounding friends or neighborhood people. That is also very good personality development. Parents are the role model. We have to behave as a confident parents to engage them, equip them very well. Otherwise, they lose the confidence. These are all the positive things promoted by the parental attitude is very, very important. So we have to focus for that. As an employer, I can able to tell we are looking for the people not only from the education, not only from the experience holder, but we are looking for the task oriented, the competence skills. So that is very, very important. If they don't have the competency to finish the task, they cannot able to sustain in the long run for the job sources. So that's why I wanted to tell as a parent, as an employer, I'm looking for the opportunity to share these kind of things for the people who can able to develop certain kind of transformation, especially learn and build the personality kind of attitude. Discipline strategies are the core ethical line. We have to align with that. The moral conditions only able to create the good humanity-oriented personality. Parenting, especially parenting the teen is very, very important. It is very, very sensitive also. So the parenting roles are very, very important for making the children to be a good human being and align with the society with a confident manner. And if any mistakes or any kind of failures, punishment is not the disciplinary action to take against of them, but we have to construct certain kind of goal sets for them to achieve the great thing. And self-discipline is all possible things to create the success. So we have to engage them, to handhold them, to march fast for this kind of self-discipline oriented kind of things that is making them to be a successful personality. So our ACE International, we are providing the business excellence service for the company, and we are engaging various kind of activities through our service and providing certain kind of products. That is the way education and training is a kind of part, and career building and career improvement is also a part. So we must need to focus for those kind of areas. And we are also supporting for the community and the groups how to engage the capability development opportunities. That is the way we are supporting for the applied learning program, STEM education for the school children, global immersion program, how to align with the global personality or global kind of tendencies as of now. Cross-cultural learning, because each and everyone must need to endorse with the other cultural values. If they don't understand, they can't able to align well with the teams who are coming from different cultural environment. So that is also very important. And company visit and industrial opportunity, that is also making them to align with the current scenario. What are the tasks going to be in future for their job roles and the response. So it is also good for them to learn from the on-job training, as well as making some kind of internship projects, holiday internship projects. They can able to learn from the company or the projects which are embedding towards with the futuristic goal sets, how to design, how to make the passion for them to drive the force for them to become a kind of personality in future. So these are all the things I just want to share with you people. Thank you so much for allowing me to come and share. I'm very happy to interact with you all through the panel discussion for whatever the questions. Thank you so much. Over to Madam Monica.
Thank you so much. It was really, really insightful, and we had a very big view of whatever the adolescents need, their behavior. In a jiffy, I would like to just give a small gist of all the speakers who have been with us as of now to give a recap to our participants. So Dr. Shalini was talking about communication, and she said positive communication was very, very important, and we should not be having kind of quizzing and questioning in the communication. That is not part of communication. And that was the second point. And she said listening without judging is very, very important. So that was one point. And she said transparency in communication is the key. So these were the really takeaways from her talk. Professor Romita was talking about role modeling, and she said parents should not have that kind of a fear of being rejected. They should work on their own self-image so that they can be true role models for their children. And three keys which she shared was competence, confidence, and character. Dr. Ram was truly very inspiring because of the kind of range he spoke about for the adolescents, starting from the destructive technologies which we have now, which also are now the useful things which he has just turned. He started with talking about technology as a disruptive thing, but now because it is generation Z, when he's talking about it, is the most important thing which we have. And how do we transform ourselves so that we are able to cater to this kind of a generation is what. So we have to evolve our own selves when we have to cater them. That was his thing. And absolutely important was that technology will not take care of their health. Taking care of their health is the part which parents have to really take care. So I was really impressed about the way he spoke about taking care of the health of the individuals, our children, so that they can take us forward into the next, towards that 2030, that new milestone which we all have. So let us really take care of our adolescents' health. We have a few questions now. I would just share because we have a few minutes left for this closing. So I think we can have a couple of questions. So one of the questions which is there, which I think Shalini ma'am can answer is, how can we balance with students their academic and personal issues with different background? So as an educator, if she will be able to answer this question, I will just repeat the question once more. How can we balance with students with their academic and personal issues when they're coming from different backgrounds in the schools? Shalini ma'am.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. That's a very interesting question. And that's always a challenge as an educator. How do you balance? Because children come with their own baggage. And not only children, teachers also come with their own baggage. So you have to balance it out. But I think the key to success for a child is a very good, healthy parent-school connect. You know, where again, I will say that don't become judgmental, because teachers are also human beings. And, the focus of both the teacher and the parent is the child. We forget sometimes, for you as a parent, your child is, I always say it's not SON, it's SUN. And the teachers understand that. But we have to also understand, the teachers are going to be honest about your child progress. Most of the time, teachers do not give an honest feedback because they are scared of you. They know you're going to be judgmental, you're going to react. So if you want your child to be healthy, as an adult, it is very important that we remember the focus of the school and the parent has to be the child. Let the child balance, because they have personal issues. The only key to success in school as a parent is communication. The problem is we don't talk. We don't talk, we don't listen. I always say the schools are supposed to teach 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking. We only teach reading and writing. We don't teach kids to listen. So they grow up as adults, even as parents. We do not listen. Honestly, we hear things, but we don't listen.
Yeah.
And we don't, we don't know how to communicate. See, the challenge is you fall in love, you can't say I love you, which is like sad. And that's the reality of life. We do not know how to communicate. So communication skill as a parent is very, very important. What to say, when to say, and how to say it. These are the 3 things which a parent has to take care. So I feel that's very important.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think next question would be to Dr. Ram. So societal influence or peer influence on adolescents, because of this influences, they are giving deaf ear to the parents. So how to handle this situation?
It is a great question. Actually, according to the social transformations, because as I mentioned, the digital sources are influencing a lot. So the parents never had the experience. Even they are educated, they are experienced, they are in very good positions also. They don't know how to make their children to meet out with the current challenges, to transform them from the learning to the exploration kind of thing. My fellow friends who are living in Singapore also, they are chasing with the different kind of people to understand better. If they wanted to put up their children to learn something from the IT skills or the medicine or any kind of engineering technology oriented or any arts and art science kind of discipline. So it is a kind of opportunity for the parents to understand better. They have to move along with the society, what is going on, what is happening now, and how do they able to learn certain things from the fellow people. They are working in the companies, they are living in the society, they can talk to them, they can understand. If their friends are having some kind of senior member children, age wise for them, so they can able to talk to them, they can get the advice, they can talk to the teachers in the school, because every year they are getting the children to transform for the next level. Teachers are very good kind of personalities to help them. They can able to align with them. This student now he is studying here, you can contact this student, they can give the number, they can able to talk to them if they are studying in overseas, if they are studying in good institutions in India. We can talk about IIT, IIM, IISc. Okay, My student is now, he is in IIT Madras, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi. They can able to easily relate to that, what kind of way he has transformed his career goals to achieve the greater things. Or any people who are studying in abroad like USA or London or any kind of Australia kind of supreme places, they are thinking, okay, I wanted to make my children to go for this kind of studies for the undergraduations or post graduations or any kind of PhD opportunity. So it is a kind of opportunity for them. They have to come closer to the neighborhood people, and they have to identify the way how to approach with the teachers, professors who can able to guide them. So it is a kind of preparedness for the mindset of the parents. It is not only because my parents never think about that, but as a parent now I have to think about that. That is the custom, that is the necessity. Each and every parents, they wanted to be, because my friends also joining here, they are having this kind of tendency. But this is the way we have to embrace the opportunity for the parents. They have to connect with the community. They have to guide the children in the right way, because they are not only guiding them by the way of philosophically or some kind of conceptualized, but they are investing their money for it. As a parent, they are paying for that. So the net result after the payment or anything, they are segregated for the students, whether it is going to reflect in the right way. Their children are getting the strength and power to be a good employee or a kind of entrepreneur in the society. So these are all important. So it is not only developing your children to become adults, but also making them with the full-fledged capacity holder to manage their tasks in future. So that's why I'm telling about task-oriented, complete, the competing skill sets. That is very, very important. So the competent skills only can support them forever. So that's why I wanted to tell. So parents must need to take that kind of role and response initially. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Another question which has come up is, how can parents understand their own stress? How can they understand their own unmet needs? So I think Professor Romita can just share something on this.
Yeah, that's what I even mentioned in my session, also in my thing, that you got to first be loving and appreciative towards what you are. And if you are not getting good sleep, and if you're not happy for no reason at all, and if you just look at something and you don't feel like smiling or laughing at silly jokes, even if you get hurt, like being able to still be okay with it, if you're not going through all that, then definitely you are under stress. And there are lots and lots of ways of taking care of your stress, and one of them is to just there are two words which I put together, is like chill, lax. So relax and just chill. And if you have any problem, just switch on some music which you like. Okay, get up and move. The word movement, is the word from where the word motivation has been derived. So if you're feeling low, if you're feeling stressed out, it's simply because you don't have that kind of energy, because you're stressed out, you're worrying about the future, or you're even, kind of guilty or troubled about your past. But you don't worry about your past, and you're never guilty about your future. Have you noticed that? You're never going to be guilty about, breaking someone's heart in the future, because but you can worry about it, right? But you can be guilty about having done the same thing. Okay, so whatever it is, just let it be. Yeah, when the future comes, we'll see, we'll cross the bridge when we reach it. Right now we can plan about the future in the present moment, but when you're in the present moment, please stop worrying. Like right now, my son is going through placements and he's constantly worried. What if I get a few lakhs less? And what if this happens? And what if I have to move out of Pune? What if I have to do this? Like, please forget it. Watch this animated serial of What If by the Marvel people, and you enjoy the present moment. We'll see what happens. Just what if they do this? What if sit down with me right now, give me a hug, talk to me right now. So just be in the present moment, and it seems as if it's more easily said than done. But trust me, switch on some music of your like and watch some, pretty kids laughing away. Laugh like a Ravan, like just stretch yourself and say, ha, 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 ha. Come on, all of you, let's do that right now. All of you, unmute yourself and let's all of us just, put our hands up and just do, ha, 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 ha. Come on, laugh. Laugh like Ravan, like cunts. Okay? And yeah, only then the Sri Ram and Sri Krishna and the Jesus will come and help you to love
Thank
you,
you.
okay, to be
Thank
with
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Do that.
So
Okay?
thank you so much, everyone. It was really wonderful to have all the participants who are the actual heroes who were sitting all through here to listen to all of us. And thank you so much for participating. I thank our esteemed panelists for sharing their insight as to how to effectively raise confident and happy teens. Above all, I thank you, Dr. Ashoka ma'am, to bring us all together on this platform. I think you can open your video if you can. So I will just like to introduce Ashoka ma'am. Ashoka ma'am is an experienced school leader with a demonstrated history of working in the education management industry. She is skilled in career development, coaching, educational consulting, learning management, and instructional design. She has trained students in soft skills and aptitude. And most importantly, in this period of virtual mode of functioning of schools, she has created learning groups for teachers, and many webinars are facilitated by her and other educators, so all will be able to help to uplift each other in these difficult times. And this is facilitated through Scale Up to Education 4.0, a group with vision to help teachers with digital transformation. As a part of the mission of the group, skills and talents upgrading of children through tasks and activities is being done by volunteering parents, youth, and dedicated teachers. So she is the one who has brought us all of together. Thank you so much, Ashoka ma'am, for giving us this platform, and so that we can help the society, help children, help teachers in many more ways. Thank you so much. Last words from you before we can have a quick picture. I think we can have a picture with all of us if we can open our videos.
We can ask Madam Ahoka Beera to say a few words about that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Last words from ma'am, and then we can have a picture.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful evening. Of all the webinars that I have conducted, this was the best one. The takeaways from here are very, very impressive, and they're very, very useful. No, I've when I said parenting, we'll do something on parenting, then we sat together and Dr. Ram and I, we were discussing, and we discussed really what should go, the titles, and the speakers are really, I know them very well, but they brought in such important points here to be noted for the future. Now, we know all what is all parenting. We have been hearing from right from our child's LKG kindergarten stages onwards. But for the next future, after this pandemic, what is necessary is what we have to look for, because they are the ones who are, the children are the ones who are going into the future. We cannot change most probably, but the child should change. So we should show them the steps to take forward. So we cannot be, we have to change now. And then they know to go forward, but we have to follow them to go into the right, direct them into the right direction, in the right direction. So everything will be words, but still the thoughts and the emotions and the knowledge that it is going for or taking them forward is important. So such a wonderful session, and thanks for all your time, and the panelists, really thumbs up to you, and really namaskar to you all. Wonderful having you all here, and wonderful Monica supporting such a beautiful session today, and your parenting your what is that? You are a parenting coach, and it's your day to day. So nice that you could also join.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you
means
so
a lot.
much. Thank you.
Dr. Ram, you would like to share something?
Really, it is wonderful. When I discuss about the program with Madam Ahoka Beera, it's really very much puzzling for us. But come to closer, and we have to discuss and arranging the speakers from the eminent personality like you, and it is really wonderful. And we make something the better for the community through this kind of dialogue sessions or panel discussion. I'm very thankful for each and everyone who are taking the time and coming forward to spend with us today. I would like to get some feedback from the audience side. I have my friend, Mr. Sharif. Can you please unmute and I have few more friends, Dr. Halima, Anita, Prema. Here.
I can also ask Preeti also. Preeti is also here, one of my friends. She can also give some feedback.
That would be giving some kind of help for us to improve or making some kind of better things for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ram, and the panelists, Monica. It was really an interesting and engaging session. As an educator over a quarter century, almost about 25 years, international level IBDB school. Yes, we are facing the current challenge is this, how to engage positively with teenagers, either they are your students or children, whatever it is. So you have to be very diplomatic and tactic to deal with their emotions. That's why now the empathetical pastoral care education, empathy, put yourself in their shoes and all that have been practicing, not just teaching to build the basic thing is like every student matters, so every soul is matters, every children is matters. How you respect, how you deal with them, how to solve their problems, emotional intelligence. The EQ is a very much important thing as an educator, not just teaching an academic subject. The rapport between the students and the teachers are highly emphasized at this point of time. Countries like us are very modern age and providing 4G to 5G, and every student wants their own, we call it professional learning digital device, PDLD we call it, and every student owning now. Ministry of Education has taken a lot of initiative to put a special softwares and all that. So what is important, the rapport between teachers and students, and the positive approach, not finding fault. Education, there is no class distinction. So we have to keep it in this mind. Support everything. Here we have special weekly ones, the pastoral care lessons are there. How to take care, how to emotional support. People like me who are managing few departments, we are not just directly form teachers at all. There are 2 form teachers addition to that. Those in the middle management, we just go there and support emotionally, give the pastoral touch. Hope I think all the 3 panelists and the chair, everybody, and Madam Ashoka, everybody looks very experienced and engaging educators. Keep going, keep remember. I want to end with Alvin Toffler's word. In 21st century, the illiterate is the one who cannot read and write. That is the one who does not learn, relearn, and unlearn. The same thing comes from our quiet Tiruvallur. So let's all learn our lifelong time. Thank you very much, Tom, for inviting me and all the panelists and the chair. Once again, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your nice words.
Dr. Ram, could I invite Preeti? She is one of my friends. She can give some feedback.
You can handle it.
Yeah, hi, good evening to everyone. So I want to say that it was a very energizing session, and especially the stretching. Thank you so much. So what I feel is that there were many takeaways, there is no doubt. And what I feel is that parents need to be on the move. We need to be smarter than every generation we will encounter. And today I learned something different from Romita, and she said that it's okay to shout, it's okay, use the same tone, same language, don't feel guilty. Children will come back to you, we will go back to our children on the move. I learned that, and really thank you so much. And Dr. Ram, you shared your presentation, had a lot of information, but there were some very peculiar points I could take from every slide. So thank you so much for putting everything together. And Shalini ma'am, I'm actually, my hometown is Delhi, and I hope I can meet you sometime in person when I come there. So thank you so much. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to share something?
Madam Prema.
Good evening, everybody. And it was a very insightful and informative session. I've learned so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Shalini, Professor Romita, and also Dr. Ram. Fantastic presentations, and you all have put in a lot of effort to explain things in very clear words to all of us, and we really appreciate that. So coming to myself, remember we mentioned about the importance of a role model. For me personally, my mother was the role model. Well, my mother is no more physically, but I believe she's watching me from above, and she will always be with me and be my guiding spirit. So for me, what happened is I originate from Malaysia, but I married a Singaporean, and I'm now a Singaporean. So what I did was, for me, I find that grandparents play a very important role. You know, sometimes as parents, we are rushing through our career path and all that, so we may not be so patient with our children, but grandparents can play that role. So whenever school vacation time, I used to send my children back to KL to spend time with the grandparents. And that really helped, that really helped, because now I'm a grandmother, okay, just for information. I'm a grandmother, I have 3 grandchildren. And now I'm doing that. Although my children are overseas, I can see the connection they still have. My children are both in Australia, but nevertheless, they are still following all our Indian culture and tradition. And they got it from the grandparents, from young. So you have to actually imbue that from young, and it will be a lifelong learning procedure. And myself, I'm a lifelong learner. So my children look up to me as a role model, and they are following suit, you see. So I think I learned a lot today from all of you, and I was also reflecting. A lot of it is about reflection, but I would like Dr. Monica to say something, because you are a parent coach, but we listen to all the 3 experts here, but how about you? You didn't say anything much.
So what I believe, yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me to speak a line of you. But important thing today as parents is important to be mindful. That is the most important thing today which we can do. Communication in a mindful way, role modeling in a mindful way. Even the disruptive behavior which Dr. Ram is talking about is also in mindful way. So mindful being is the most important. It is the foundation, it is the basis of any action which I have to take towards any stage of development of the child, leave alone adolescence, or when we are parenting our own selves also. So when we are parenting, first we have to parent our own selves. When we parent our own selves, we are able to be mindful more. So it starts with your self-care, and then it goes to your children. So being mindful, that is what I'm advocating, that how being mindful in this, living in this present moment is the most important thing. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say
Vanita,
that,
are you there? Vanita, are you there? Okay.
She's left.
Dr. Halima, do you want to share something about your friend Romita is here?
Yes. Yes. Hi, everyone. It was really fantastic to hear each one of you. And Dr. Ram does such type of wonderful tasks, I know. And he is a person who is fond of collaborating with the people and bringing the people at one platform. And especially today's session was very close to my heart, as I have been an educationist since last 28 years, and I have been dealing with the students, and I am the mother of 2 sons as well. So I can correlate each and every aspect. Especially, I love Romita's presentation. That was so lively, and it was on a very lighter note, smiling, laughing, and then everything, whatever is happening as natural. And what we think sometimes that as if that we are abnormal, and this is happening in my house only. While when we go out and we discuss, then we find that everybody is sailing in the same boat. So these type of presentations are really very good, very helpful as a mother, as a coach, as a mentor. So congratulations to each one of you. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you for your nice words. And I'm giving the appeal to each and everyone. Please use the eminent personality here. Make the way how to help the youngsters to handhold for the futuristic way what they are marching towards, walk on ropes kind of thing. So we must need to equip them very well how to balance between the things, not to get fall from the walk on rope kind of conditions. So that is the attitude we need to develop for ourselves, also supporting to the young children who are getting the confidence on their roadmap in the coming years of transforming this particular period of adolescence kind of things. So thank you for giving this opportunity, creating this opportunity, and engaging this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, and see you all again once more in the future. Bye-bye.
Do you want to take a photo?
Already I took.
Yeah, he's taken. Okay. Great. Thank you so much. We can close. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
If anybody, if you want to open the camera, I can read another one. I can take. No problem. Please open your camera. I can take.
Halima?
Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.
See you our next meeting.